Ever wonder why humans can't regrow body parts? It's a valid question. Other animals like salamanders certainly can do it, so why not us? It seems like a pretty sweet advantage. And hey, the knowledge that injuries wouldn't result in permanent damage might even make you less fearful of extreme sports, Brainerd. So today, we are learning exactly how human beings heal from injuries, why we can't regrow a lost body part, and then talk about some incredibly advanced surgeries that involve transplanting either someone else's body part or regrowing the body part you need in a lab. Sound too insane to be true? Hey, what can we say? Sometimes science is more awesome than science fiction. Humans already have a pretty amazing ability to heal. No, we aren't as good as Wolverine and X-Men, but hey, that's fantasy. If you think about it, breaking a bone only takes a good 6 to 12 weeks to heal. In the scheme of things, that's really not that bad. Cuts and bruises happen all the time, and yes, while it may not instantly heal up, everything should be good as new in about 2 weeks' time, depending on the severity of the injury. For something like a bruise, also known as a contusion, you probably will get one of these because you bumped a part of your body, and the blood from the capillaries, which are small blood vessels, has started to leak out. But there's nowhere for the blood to go, so it will stay trapped under the skin, and you'll get a red or purple spot. These areas will usually be pretty tender too. But here's what you'll see as the bruise slowly fades away and heals. In the first 1 or 2 days, hemoglobin, which is an iron-containing substance that carries the oxygen for your blood, will cause the bruise to become that dark purplish color. 5 to 10 days after its appearance, it will now be a light yellowish or brown color. And then finally, about after a full 2 weeks, that bruise will finally have gone away. Yes, it's slower than the superheroes on TV, but it works. Cuts heal in stages as well, and based on the severity of the cut, that will determine how quickly it will heal. Clotting will begin within the first few minutes of your blood getting in contact with the air. This clot happens because a special type of blood cell, called a platelet, will clump together, and it's your body's natural way of stopping the bleeding. The clot then forms a scab, which manifests as a hard protective outer layer over the cut that will protect the tissues underneath. Now, your immune system kicks into gear and will protect you from any infection at the site of the lesion, with the hard work of your good old white blood cells. Swelling can occur, and even some clear fluid may seem to leak out of the wound, but don't worry. This fluid is your body's way of cleaning the area. Blood vessels will open in this area as well to help bring oxygen to the wound, as oxygen is essential in the healing process. Finally, it's up to your white blood cells to begin repairing the area. These early stages take about 2 to 5 days. After that, it'll be about 3 weeks as your body fixes blood vessels that were broken and you start to regrow new tissue. It's your red blood cells that lead the way in this growing of new tissue process, as they are what will help create collagen, or hardy white fibers that are the foundation of new tissue. And hey, speaking of collagen, this is the same stuff that our bones are made of. Who'd have thought? See, Brainerd, it's all connected. But as you know, the healing process doesn't always leave us exactly as we were. Scars are a very common occurrence for many cuts that take place. These darker marks on our skin happen after new skin forms over the new tissue your body has been growing. As this wound heals, the edges pull inwards, and the wound will get smaller in size. This is when the wounded area becomes stronger, and the scar will form. But why do scars form? Well, it's because the new tissue that has grown back is organized in slightly a different way than the original tissue. But don't worry, most scars will fade. It'll take about 2 years, but it'll happen. Only on the super deep wounds will a scar remain permanently. But while our healing process works, we can't just grow back an entire finger or limb or organ that gets injured. Sure, for some injuries, a severed body part can be reattached, but it's not all body parts. And frankly, you're on a time limit. Most doctors clock the time limit for reattaching something like a severed finger at about 12 hours if not kept cool, and at about 4 days if cooled. As long as the severed tissue is alive, doctors can reattach the veins, and blood can flow again. Believe it or not, surgeons still use live leeches if a vein can't be sewn up right away. These little parasites have a chemical called hirudin that keeps blood from clotting and allows drainage to still occur. Now, sure, this may seem all fine and dandy, but what about other species that can seemingly regrow entire appendages on their own and be as good as new? Brainerd, imagine if we could do that. I mean, you'd never have to worry about injuries anymore. So why can't we do this? And why can they? It seems like on the surface, we should be able to do this. After all, we regrow any skin we lose from a cut, and we'll even regrow smaller areas that may have been lost, like fingertips, as long as the fingernails are still intact. So why can't we regrow an entire limb? Well, the short answer is the body doesn't activate a special type of cell that is called a stem cell. And these are needed to grow all the vastly different parts of the limb, like the bone, blood vessels, muscles, and nerves. If we did activate these stem cells, oh boy, we could regrow just about anything. Scientists have been studying the exact reason why humans don't seem to activate these stem cells, and it seems to come down to our genes. When looking at salamanders, specifically the axolotl, researchers noticed that the gene TGF-beta1 seems to be the key for allowing their incredible regeneration process. And these little guys are masters at it. They can regrow anything from limbs to their tail to their jaw, and believe it or not, even their spinal cord and parts of their brain. Insane, right? But here's the thing, humans also have this gene. The difference is, in us, it only tells the wounded area to heal and form a scar. But scientists haven't given up hope on X-Men levels of regeneration yet. They believe that if they can manipulate this TGF-beta gene in humans, this very well could lead to us having the ability to regrow any manner of organs and limbs, and even heal really complex areas of the body like our spinal cord. And it's not just salamanders that scientists are studying. Planarians are a small freshwater flatworm that have incredible regenerative abilities. Just how incredible are we talking? These little guys can fully reform from a sliver just 1/300th of their original size. How do they accomplish this? You guessed it, stem cells, and some special ones at that. These unique stem cells are called C. neoblast, and they have the ability to become almost any cell in the body. While we may be a ways away from activating the genes to allow salamander or planarian-like regeneration, scientists have made incredible leaps when it comes to regrowing body parts in a lab, with the eventual goal of reattaching them to a patient. By utilizing stem cells, researchers have grown heart muscle and connective tissue, a working esophagus, human ears that were grown on, get ready for this, the backs of rats, and even a teeny tiny pencil eraser-sized brain that is genetically similar to the brain of a 5-week-old human fetus. It's truly incredible stuff, Brainerd. And while regrowing a full arm so it can be reattached is a ways away, an arm transplant is here right now. Will Lautzenheiser is one such patient, and he's one of about 80 people worldwide with transplanted arms. While there is still some risk of the arms being rejected by the body, the success rate is really high for this, with about 95% of transplanted limbs working out. This is because patients must take medication every day for the rest of their lives to make sure that the body won't reject the transplanted body parts. The rehab takes a really long time too. It's not a one-and-done process. Aides have been helping Will move his arms and do menial tasks like buttoning buttons on his shirt, but the hard work has paid off. And after 5 years, Will ate his first bowl of ramen on his own. Well done, Will. Not only on the hard work, but also on the choice of first food eaten on your own. Well, how about that, Brainerd? Humans may be on their way to regrowing a lost limb or an organ that was damaged, just will need a little help from a laboratory. And stem cells. It really is an exciting time to be alive, and the advancements in this area continue to not only astonish us, but move us closer to really helping those who have been injured. Until that time, though, best to be as safe as you possibly can when doing dangerous activities like extreme sports, because until we all become mutants like in X-Men, we won't be able to fully reform from a bad injury. Stay safe, Brainiacs. And remember, if you learned something in today's video, go ahead and click that like button. It really does help us out. A lot. And be sure to subscribe as well if you haven't for more crazy and weird science videos, all with our buddy Brainerd here.